What's going on, everybody? Top 10 Pokemon back. And folks, throughout the entirety of 2025, I have done numerous top 10 hottest cards of the week videos showcasing all the cards that were skyrocketing. However, in today's video, we will be doing the opposite. We will be going over 10 cards that I have found, with some honorable mentions, that have had a retrace of sorts in their price, especially in the past 2 months. And as we review these cards, I'll be giving you my humble opinion on whether or not they are worth a pickup in today's prices or not. Now, it's also worth noting that a lot of the cards that I covered throughout the year have actually increased in value, and a lot of them have actually maintained their value as well. A quick shout out to today's video sponsor. It is Arizona TCG, the best way to sell your Pokemon cards. Arizona TCG is a Pokemon card consignment company that's been around for some time now, and their eBay listings get a ton of traffic. What I like about Arizona TCG is that you see your cards the whole way through. From the intake, to the photos they take, to the listing, to the live auction stats, to the payout, all in a very clean dashboard. You can pick weekly auctions for reach or buy it now and edit your price in real time. They're fast, transparent, and their user interface is genuinely easy to use, giving you control over your cards and exactly how you want to sell them. So use code TOP10 at Arizona TCG to consign your cards today, and as always folks, I really appreciate your support. Alright folks, let's start off this video with the number 10 card that I seen retrace quite a bit in value in the past month or so. It is this illustration rare Squirtle from Stellar Crown. Folks, at one point this card was sky high as a PSA 10, selling for $365, all the way up to about $400 for a PSA 10, but in the past couple of weeks really, it has been cut in half, just about, selling for $227 to about $223.50, which is a 43% decrease from what it was selling for earlier this year. So at the price of a little over $200, so I think that's a good deal to pick up a PSA 10? I don't think it's a bad deal. I think it's a very well-known Gen 1 starter. It is one of, if not the best card from Stellar Crown, so I think at this price tag, I would be much more comfortable picking it up than the $400 price tag. On to the next card from one of my favorite sets, the set that got me back into this whole gig in the first place. It is this Mega Charizard EX Full Art from Evolutions. Folks, this card was so close to seeing a $1,000 price tag. Here is a sale for $900, another one for $910, $912, $910. Is very consistently selling for over $900, but recently has come crashing down a little bit, selling as a PSA 10 for $560 to about $510 most recently, which is a minus 44% in value over the past month. And do I think this is a good pickup at about $500? I do, I really do. It could just be this card has a special place in my heart because it was one of the cards that I first pulled when I was opening up Evolutions boxes back in 2016. Like I said, I'm a little bit partial to Evolutions, but I think at this price tag, wouldn't be a bad pickup. Up next, we have the illustration rare Tyranitar from Paldea Evolved. And much like the Charizard, this puppy was real close to hitting 4 figures at one point as a PSA 10. It had sold for about $766, up to about $880. I thought for sure we were seeing a $1,000 sale shortly after that, but in the past week we have seen sales of $490 to about $485, which is a minus 45% from what it was selling for a couple of months ago. And would I pick this card up at about $485? No. If you've watched me for any amount of time, you know that I didn't have much faith in the longevity of these illustration rares, at least in these insane booms in the market for IRs. So I would feel more comfortable buying this card if it came down just a bit more. So I'm going to give it the thumbs down for the $480 price tag. What do you think about it? Up next, we have the Rayquaza VMAX from Silver Tempest. This is a Trainer Gallery card. Folks, at one point, the Trainer Gallery cards were just going to the moon. PSA 10s were selling for as high as $435. Here's another sale for $435, but in the past week has come down pretty significantly, selling for $232. Again, for $232, which is a minus 47% on this Trainer Gallery card. And would I pick this card up at the price tag of $232? No. I feel the same way about these trainer gallery cards as I did the illustration rares. I just wasn't convinced that that surge was going to last or even be sustained. So at $232, I don't think it's a good enough deal yet. I'm gonna have to pass on this one. Up next, we have one of the worst Charizards of all time, in my humble opinion, the Radiant Charizard from Pokemon Go. Never been a fan of this card, but what about the price? Let's take a look. A month or so ago, this card was selling as a PSA 10 for $209 to $227. Now has been pretty much cut in half, selling for $119 to about $112.50, which is an even minus 50% in value. And would I pick it up for 112 bucks? Absolutely not. Like I said, this is one of the worst Charizards. I think the pull rate is very generous for this set in terms of Radiant cards. So no, there is no way in heck I would pick this card up for over 100 bucks. Sorry. Up next, we have another Trainer Gallery card. This one is from Lost Origin, is the Pikachu Trainer Gallery card that was selling for $482 to about $560 as a PSA 10, but has since come down quite significantly, selling most recently for $274 to about $272. So that would be about a 51% increase on this card as a PSA 10. And I've already discussed my feelings about Trainer Gallery cards. I would not pick this card up as of right now. And that's going to hold true for pretty much the rest of the Trainer Gallery cards we go over today. But what about Galarian Gallery cards? Is that the same as Trainer Gallery cards to me? Let's take a look. Here we have a Galarian Gallery Mew from Crown Zenith, one of the best modern sets. This card was selling for $405 to $416 in auction, but in the past couple of weeks has come down to $202 to about $200 even in auction, which is a negative 52% on this beautiful Mew card. Would I pick it up for 200 bucks? Yeah, I could see me getting this card for 200 or less. It's a gorgeous Mew card from a very, very popular, very sought after set, Crown Zenith, and 200 bucks for this card is not too bad. Definitely would consider it. Here we have another Galarian Gallery card, also from Crown Zenith. It is this Pikachu number 30 card. This guy was selling as a PSA 10 for $303 to about $305. Here's a sale for $310, but more recently has sold for more like $142 to $132, all the way down to about 130 bucks for this card as a PSA 10, which is a minus 58%. And unlike the Mew, I would not pick this card up at this price point. I would be much more comfortable waiting until it got down below $100. If it does, maybe it won't, but I think it has the potential to get a little bit lower than this. So no, I would not pull the trigger on this PSA 10 copy. Next up, we have a Sword and Shield card. It is the Rayquaza Amazing Rare from Vivid Voltage. Boy, oh boy, folks, this card is the very definition of a roller coaster ride in terms of prices. A couple months ago, this card was selling for $197 to $200 in auction, but has since gone down below $100 as a PSA 10, selling for $96 to about $78, which is a minus 61% for this card. And like I said, folks, this card is no stranger to extreme prices. When this card was first released, it was hundreds of dollars as a 10. It came crashing down to like 40 bucks. And then what? It went back up to 200 bucks. Now it's down below $100. This card is so volatile. I would avoid this like the plague. Before we get to the number one card with the highest percentage decrease, let's go over just a couple of honorable mentions. Here we have a Galarian Moltres V Alt Art from Chilling Reign. In PSA 10, this card reached the heights of $639 to $650, but more recently has been selling for closer to $410 down to $406, which is a 37% decrease. And I think this card has always been underrated, and I certainly wouldn't mind picking it up for about 400 bucks. Here we have the Machamp V alt art from Astral Radiance that was selling for $510 to $578, all the way up to about $600 in auction. But recently we have seen sales of $380 down to about $357, which is a minus 40% in value. And I feel much more secure buying Sword and Shield alt arts than I do Trainer Gallery cards or illustration rares at these prices, so I wouldn't mind picking this card up either. And lastly, for our honorable mentions, we have a Trainer Gallery Gengar from Lost Origin. This guy was hitting the heights of $470 to $480, but more recently has come down to $286 to $281. And nope, I would not pick this card up. It's a Trainer Gallery card. I've already discussed this. No thank you. Which brings me to the number one card on today's list that has had the biggest retrace. It's this Radiant Eevee from Pokemon Go Premium Collection. This card was selling as a PSA 10 for $255 to $294, all the way up to $380 for a PSA 10, which is absolutely crazy. But folks, this card has come crashing down very recently, selling for $107 to about $106.70, which is a minus 72% on this card. Would I pick it up at about $100? It's tough. It's a coin flip. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. It's, I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. I think if it was just a little bit less, I wouldn't mind getting it, but I still think a price tag of $106 is a little bit too much for me. What do you think about it? That's all I got for you, folks. What do you think of these cards? Please let me know in the comments below. Please go check out Arizona TCG. That's all I got for you today. I will catch you all in my next one.